I was gonna say, if I see a small size, I'm never gonna hold, like ever, against recreations. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, HOLYJTIBURON here. In today's video, we're jumping into a 50 NL play and explain session. I will walk you through my thought process in real time, and I will be breaking down key hands and spots where I think most players at these stakes struggle. So without further ado, let's dive in. Ace queen suited from the small blind, gonna 3-bet, go 11, can go 12. I like to go 11 big blinds. See a call 4-bet from a recreational. I think this recreational specifically tends to be a bit too wide. I've seen him play a lot of hands in my past sessions. I think this hand is close. I think I will jam though. Too many bluffs in this situation. And if he has too many bluffs, then this hand can easily go all in pre-flop. Okay, he folded. So single raise pot, king 6-4. I see a lot of people betting their whole range here. It's actually not quite a bet range here. So I will mix some checks and some small bets. This hand specifically, I will bet some of the time. Pocket queens from the big blind against the regular. Gonna go for a 3-bet. Let's go 12 big blinds. The polarized range. So here I also raised the pocket sixes against the cutoff recreational. And we see a cold call and the jam. I think it's just a fold. 5-3 against 2.2. Easy continue. See a king queen 5. So already considering a check raise with this hand. Not supposed to go pure. Rolled 7-3-3. Let's just go for a check call. You can indeed start check raising your weak pairs in this kind of formations. And we'll see a second barrel. I think 5-3 just gonna be a pure fold here. We're just gonna continue with mostly king x and some queen x and 10x with equity. 10-10-8, jack 9, I'm gonna go high frequency bet. Let's just go with it. See a call. Runouts the 4. Now, this hand we don't really want to check call. I think it's just a pure bet or close to be a pure bet. Let's just go for another small size, B40. You can see this size a lot in the blind versus blind spots. Here, king 5-4 is actually not a range bet spot, but as I told you in the NL25 session, I like to bet my own range at the stakes since players are a bit too passive against my strategy. But in theory, it's not supposed to be a range bet board. Pocket 9s against 2.2 and a call. Here, definitely want to squeeze this hand. I'm gonna open the ace-5 offsuit here. Let's just go 14 big blinds. This guy, always dead money. Open the pocket queens. Big blind calls and does not rebet. Gonna open the king 9 over here. Jack 8-5. It's a board where you want to go, I think, mostly small, maybe some medium sides, but mostly small. Equity can shift pretty easily on this kind of boards. Ace deuce, it's supposed to be a fold in theory, so let's just fold it. Pocket queens and the run out 8. I'm gonna continue bet again with the small sides. And on the river 9, again, I'm gonna target the jack x. Just go b50. This is a recreational, so okay, let's get the 8, fine. The ace-3, high frequency 3-bet. Let's just go with it, 50. Again, you want to have a pretty polarized range from the big blind. So these low ace-x like ace-3, ace-deuce, you can take a lot of them into your 3-betting range. The ace-king from the cutoff, just gonna open. And the 8-7, it's actually high frequency too. So we're gonna 3-bet. We face 3-bet from the small blind, gonna mostly 4-bet at the stakes with this hand. You can go 23, 23 and a half big blinds. These formations, you don't need to go particularly big to generate indifference on the king 10 suited, king jack suited, ace 10 suited, queen jack suited. All of these hands are gonna be basically indifferent between calling and folding. Open the king 9, not a pure, but at these stakes I like to open a bit more wide. It's 2.8. Gonna find some 3-bets with the king 8 suited. You have more incentive to steal the pot when the opening size is bigger. Here against the likelier recreational, like to go for a bet here with the king 9. I think we have mostly 1 or 2 streets of value depending on the run out, and I like to bet on the flop. Since right now I can go for a value bet, but later I don't know. On the 7, just gonna be checking. River 2 pair. Here's a pot size bet. I think it's close. since recreationals tend to underbluff on the pot size bet. Don't think I want to range fold here, so if I don't want to range fold, I think king 9 I'm gonna call. Mostly because I think a recreational here can overvalue stuff like king 8, for example. So I'm just gonna call. Shows up with a queen 10. Nice. Jack 4 again, rolled pretty low. Just gonna go for 3-bet, although this guy looks like a recreational. I don't know. I think he's a recreational. He opens 3.5x, which makes this hand already close between calling and folding. I think I'm gonna call against the rec though. Okay, here check check on 4-3 deuce. Here we're gonna play some small bets and some big bets. I think this hand can go either way. Roll low, so let's just go for a big bet. Wrapping mostly straights and trips, of course. Guess the check on ace 9-5. Gonna check back, take my equity and realize it. Don't want to bet all the time with this flush draws. I think a recreational when they check on these boards usually tend to have some kind of showdown value. I think on the turn though, they double check. I think I will likely go for a overbet, targeting all the pocket pairs like pocket 8s, pocket 7, pocket 6s, even stuff like 10s and jacks. Fold. Of course, we block the jacks. Okay, calls. River the jack. Of course, we're not gonna bluff now. Still beat some of these hands. Something like king eyes, flush draw, and stuff like that. So we're gonna check back. Okay, here the aces. So correct read from the pre-flop. Here against 3x open. Gonna go for a 13.5 big blinds. And we see a queen 8-4. Here I'm gonna play mostly big bets around the pocket kings, pocket aces, ace queen. So ace queen I'm gonna do a bunch of betting. Let's just go for a b70. Let's go b70. Base a snap call. Run out the 8. Considering a check, I think I would like to check here. I don't know. This guy might be a recreational, by the way. Opponent checks back. Now, I don't think he's got a lot of 4x in his range. And I don't think he's going to reopen enough on this run out. So I think I will bet, and I will bet pretty big. Since I don't think a queen is gonna fold anyway. So don't want to jam though. Let's just go b70 again. He called, which is nice. Let's see what he had. Wow. Yeah, the ace jack. Call me with the ace high. That's a pretty big bluff catch. Here's 2.8 open. Pocket 7's gonna mostly call. Actually pure call. See the queen 10-7. So pretty good board for us. Not for range, but for this hand specifically. Gonna go for a check raise, basically pure here, especially with the 7 of hearts. Unfortunately, our opponent folds. Gonna open the king jack. King jack on queen 7-6 against likely a recreational. I think we can start with a small bet, especially with this hand. I don't mind getting him to fold some ace eyes, stuff like that. Now, run out is not particularly good. Do I want to bet all the time? I think so. I think this hand is a pretty good bet. Called, river the 4. I think recreationals here tend to donk bet a lot. So, if I want to bluff, I want to go all in though. I like to go all in. It's gonna fold a lot of pair, even queen x. I don't like to go for an intermediate size in there because I think it's never gonna fold against an intermediate size with a top pair or a weak 2 pair. Rivered 6 against this guy. Went for the passive line on the flop. Could have check raised sometimes this hand. Do I want to bet? Think so. Let's just go b75. Mostly betting king or 6. Don't have anything in between to bet. Check X mostly wants to check. So I think an intermediate size is fine. And this 10-9, I don't think you can do much with it. I think you're gonna bluff basically all the time. Although you do block some these folds, like pocket 10s, pocket 9s, and he called the pocket 5s. open the ace queen, 8-6. Let's just go for a range bet, even though 10-4-4 is definitely not a range bet. Again, at these stakes, I don't face enough aggression. Still gonna go with my strategy. Ace queen, you can mix some 4 bets and some calls. Roll pretty high, let's just go for a call. See ace 10-5. This is a pretty good board for the out of position player. It's got a lot of broadways in its free betting range, so he's allowed to go for small sides and a high frequency. I'm gonna continue mostly by calling here. Much to say, range does not perform particularly well. Here against the big bet, I think I would like to call this hand. You can mix in some check raises, especially with the 6. I think it's good because you can turn some gut shots too. Face check. This hand I think in theory should mix, but in practice I really don't like to mix here. I think I will pure bet this ace queen, and I will go for a polarized bet. Against an overbet, easy fold the flush draw, 9 high specifically. If you have some showdown value with your flush draw, then it's completely fine to go for it. Now I think on the 7, I don't want to check back my hand ever. I think it's threshold for value here is specifically ace queen. Don't know if ace jack is allowed to jam here. I think ace queen is decent enough, so just gonna go for it. Especially if the out of position player never checks the region of ace king, stuff like that. Unfortunately, he folded this time. The bluff catcher, of course. Here, 2.8. Let's just go 8.5 3-bet with the queen jack suited. Not gonna play any flats, especially against this sizing and these stakes. Pocket jacks. I think it's supposed to be a pure 3-bet at NL50. So let's go for it. Again, 12 big blind from the big blind, very polarized. Gonna open the king 10. Face a flat call from this guy. He's actually a regular player. I don't expect a lot of flat calls at these stakes. Since rick's pretty high, you don't want to go post flop a lot. And I think on the ace queen 5, this guy basically it's nothing, because it's gonna have a lot of pairs, a lot of maybe gut shots, not many ace queen and stuff like that. Even though if you do play a flatting range, you're gonna have to defend your flatting range with some strong combos. So I'm gonna go with an overbet, since I think my opponent is completely capped and is not gonna be able to defend against my huge sizing. So we face 3-bet from the big blind. I think this guy looks like a regular, and we hit our top pair on queen 5-3. Guess the big bet. Of course, we're gonna continue with the ace queen, but I'm not that happy already. Okay, we do see a quick check on the turn. I think now he has basically given up. Don't think he finds enough checks with pocket kings, so maybe he's got some king queen in his checking range. I think this hand can check back. I think my opponent here has got kind of weak range overall. I think I don't want to go for stacks in this situation. Now against the check, I think I'm gonna go b75. Actually, let's go pot. As expected. Don't know if he range folds there. With that timing, I think he can actually range fold there. So we see a bit of a tank and then an open. I think usually they're a bit weaker when they tank this much. I think the 10-8 is supposed to be a mixed already. So I'm gonna take it in a 3-bet. King queen here, mostly gonna flat. Rolled pretty high the first number. I'm just gonna continue by calling. 9-7-5, not the greatest board for the imposition player, although he's from the cutoff, so he has some 8-6 in his range. Of course, he has some 9-7. It's a bit better than, for example, if he was from the under the gun. Check, check, king queen, don't want to bluff. I think you're gonna bluff stuff like 6x, 10-8. Jack 10, these combos, some flush draws. Don't need to go king queen as a bluff, especially because you're blocking a lot of his folds. And reverse d8, just gonna check, lose a bunch, actually almost always lose. Face a bet, just gonna fold. don't want to win every hand, so it's fine. Sometimes you can just let go. Gonna 3-bet the ace king here. Don't know this guy. Probably recreational. So let's go for a big 3-bet against the recreational. Okay. See a small 4-bet. I think this guy's a regular. Never seen a recreational do this kind of sizing. Just gonna jam the ace king suited. Definitely a regular. I don't see a lot of recreational play a lot of 4-bets in these kind of spots. If they do, they usually go for a bigger sizing. I'm not playing with the HUDs since I prefer to have a clear screen for you guys. I think it's useful to see how a decision is taken without HUDs. Guess this guy gonna 3-bet the ace 4. He's very loose pre-flop, and 3x open again. You have a lot of incentive to steal the pot, so I don't mind the 3-bet with the ace 4. And again, we face this time a pretty big 4-bet. Just gonna fold, of course. Pocket deuces, just gonna call. Blind versus blind. Against the regular, jack 9-8. Of course, this is not the greatest board for the out of position player since it's a monotone board. Monotone boards are not that great for the preflop raiser. They're usually better for the preflop caller. This time with the pocket deuces, I think I'm just gonna check back. Make a flush, and we see a small bet. Of course, I'm gonna continue. Never folding flush here, especially against the small sides. Reverse the ace. Some of his 2-pair region improved to full house. I don't think I want to bet pocket deuces here, ever. So let's just check. Wow, 6-3. Creative bluff. Pocket tens. I think I'll 3-bet, even though I think you're going to be starting to play some flats from this cutoff big blind positions. Check 3-3. Just gonna go for a range bet. Again, not a range bet board. I don't expect a lot of aggression, even though this guy is a regular. I think it's a good regular too for the stakes, of course. King 10 deuce. I think here wanna mostly play some half pot on the run out 10. I think I'm not allowed to bluff all the time with this combo. I'm just gonna check back. Roll pretty high. He continues. Turn is not great. Not great at all. Ace queen is a lot of his range. I think I will be checking a lot. Just gonna check. Here I'm gonna check back. Just give up. King 9. We checked on the run out jack. Of course, it's not the greatest run out. It does have pocket jacks. It does have ace queen. See a small sides. That's weird. I don't think you want to play a lot of small sides here. Here I'm gonna ISO raise. Considering a jam doesn't make a lot of sense here. Just gonna call. Wow, that's a very tough spot. I don't think I can ever get away with it. You can have easily king jack, so call, and win against the ace 10. Again, you find him with a bluff. Doesn't have a lot of bluffing hands in this kind of situation, so I think this hand might be a thing in theory. I want to check with solver later. Got another stack. That feels good. 10-9-6. Not the greatest board for the EPBB formation. Do we ever want to bet this hand? I think we do sometimes. Rolled pretty low. Let's just go for it. Gonna make him fold some ace queen already. So could be a thing. Supposed to be folding some of his pairs too. Got check raised. Let's just fold. Yes, the pretty aggressive recreational. Opens 3x. We're gonna 3-bet to 14 big blinds. He continues. For this 10-9-9, this pair board is decent. Just gonna go with a 50% pot bet, and I'm gonna bet the ace queen for value on the flop. A lot of combos that need to continue. On the turn, of course, we're gonna check and take our showdown against and like king jack, queen jack, jack 8 suited. I think this guy can easily have the jack 8 suited this range. Of course, we're gonna be beaten against the pocket pair region, and X, stuff like that. Okay, river is the 8, not the greatest run out, but still we have some showdown against the ace jack. Just gonna check. I was gonna say, if I see a small size, I'm never gonna fold, like ever against recreationals. I never fold against recreational against these small sizings. They're gonna surprise you with their showdown. Of course, you can have a 10. Of course, it's gonna have the occasional, I don't know, pocket 7s that it wants to go for team value against ace queen, ace king. But usually they tend to be massively over bluffing. We need to be right a very small amount of time. So I want to call. We can see that he had the ace queen, so not even sure if it was a bluff there. He probably doesn't know if it was a bluff. Just a quick break, guys. If you're enjoying the content so far, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm a small channel, so it will really mean the world to me. Now back to the video. Ace king offsuit is not supposed to be a pure 3-bet against the UTG-PP. This time we rolled a 3-bet. Let's just go for it. King 6, very decent board for the in-position player, especially against the recreational. I'm just gonna bet my range. We do face a raise. Let's just fold. 3x open. I think these guys are recreational. Let's just go for 13 big blind and a half. Calls. 10-6-5. Not the greatest board. Against recreational, you can small sides this hand too. I don't mind it. Let's just go for the small sides. I'm assuming it's a recreational. Continues. Runouts the 5. So now, of course, the plan is to go to showdown somehow, exploit their size intel, and sometimes even bluff catch with this kind of combos. Okay, goes for a pretty small size, 9 big blind. So he's representing a hand like 7s, pocket 8s, some stuff like that. I think against such a small size, you're not allowed to fold a lot in theory. Okay, and we do see the king on the river. Now, I don't want to let him go to showdown with pocket 7s, with pocket 8s, with pocket 9s. So I'm just gonna go all in on the king and try to make him fold these kind of hands. Since we do have ace king in our range, and it's a big part of our range, so I think it works a lot. And we see him folding, so nice hand. Playing against recreationals is a completely different approach than playing against regulars. You don't need to adjust your game plan constantly, watching for informations about their hand, while a regular might be using as their only sizing their small sides. I think recreational with good hands, they're gonna tend to go for bigger sizing, so that makes them exploitable when they do small bet and the river is the king, because now they're not gonna have the stronger part of range to defend themselves. King jack suited. Let's go for a 3-bet. Let's go for a 3-bet with the ace king 2. See a call. 10-6-3. 10-8 board. Usually want to go something between 50 and 70% of the pot. With the ace king specifically, we do not block the ace 10. I don't think this is a high frequency bet. So check. Here we face a 2.8 open. I'm gonna continue with the 4-3. We face a pretty big bet on the flop. I think this is 70. I think we wanna continue with the gut shots. Although this gut shot kind of reverse a lot. I think you wanna fold this kind of gut shots. Okay, we face a small bet, which is a correct thing to do. Gonna go low frequency check raise and mostly check calling. So check call, and we see the 3 of hearts on the turn, and it goes check check. Now it's gonna have a lot of mid value. Don't think you wanna ever bluff. This is king, of course. So just gonna check, try to go to showdown, although I think it's not gonna happen frequently. We face a bet, pretty big bet. I think he mostly has a 10 here. Just gonna fold. Could have called with the ace king that blocked the ace 10. I think there it's gonna have just a bunch of 10x. Queen 10, Jack 10, stuff like that. And I have a note that is regular but on the passive side, so I think it's more likely to have just a 10 or pocket 9s and goes for thin value there. I think it's good enough for today. Gonna end the session here. Let's see our results for today. This is the graph and results for today's session. We managed to win 130 euros, same all-in adjustment. We did not play any pre-flop all-in, and you can see the graph over here. Pretty good session, run decently well. So guys, that was it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you missed my last week's video, there was a 25 NL plain explain. Go check it out. I'll link it here, and I'll see you in the next one.